Okay, everybody. We're doing another live stream. We'll just check this out. We'll get started here in just a couple minutes. I've shared this on social media, so it'll take a second for this to get out there, and hopefully we'll have a few viewers. If not, please feel free to watch and share the replay. What we're going to be talking about is tips for schools designing with Google Apps. Yep. So if you've been following my channel at all or any of the things that I've been doing, you probably have known by now that I use Google Drive quite a bit. And there are several reasons behind that. I have put out several videos about that. But primarily who I think this live stream is for educators, for people in schools, maybe office workers, teachers, even principals or administration, people who need to make documents look good. And I think that's all of you. I constantly get flyers from my kids' schools. You know, you always get that whole pack of papers, and this isn't meant to put anybody down. I so appreciate all of the work and the effort that educators do to teach and to help kids like mine and probably yours learn, and that's why they're there. So this video is really to kind of help. I think parents are the ones that see all the paperwork, and I think if documents looked a little bit nicer, we'd be more inclined, one, to actually read them because they catch our attention in a way that it wasn't like, oh, I've seen this before, or you know, you can only read Comic Sans so many times before everything just kind of goes blah. So I want to, you know, maybe provide a few tips using a tool that everybody has access to. And one of the reasons I like using the Google Drive suite of apps is because of the Chromebook. Chromebooks are in so many schools now, probably more than Windows machines as far as what students have access to, what teachers have access to, the price point, and just the ease of use. These are incredible machines, and I think that it really does benefit the world of education greatly. So as a designer, I want to talk about design. And so we're just gonna, I'm in Google Drive, and I'm just in a browser. I'm on a MacBook Pro, but everything that I'm gonna be doing is just in a browser, which means you can do this on Windows, you can do this on Linux, you can do this on a Chromebook, you can do this on everything. And I've just gone into a folder here, but I'm just going to create a new document. And there's a couple of ways that you can go about creating a new document. You can click the new red button over here. And what I'm going to do is create a new slide. And a slide presentation is essentially like a PowerPoint, but you can set up a custom document for print size. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use a slides document rather than a drawing, because I may want to have more than one page, or I might want to have a double-sided, and I can do that in Google Slides. So I'm just going to create a new Google Slides document. Thanks for watching, whoever's watching, by the way. And first thing that I'm presented with is to choose a theme. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going to close this down. I'm going to get rid of all this content with just a lasso drag, select, just like that. Delete that. I'm also going to just pull this down. This is my notes. You see that by default it's set up for a screen presentation. Then I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call it School Flyer. I have one actually from my daughter's school that we're going to use. Okay, so let me talk through this. So I just went to File. I went down to Page Setup. And then right here where it says widescreen 16:9, I'm going to change that to custom. I'm going to make sure it's on inches, because that's what I use, but you can use centimeters, points, or pixels. And for this, I'm going to go 8.5 by 11. Click OK. And my document's basically set up. Now, I'm not going to worry about trim or bleed or anything like that, because most likely you don't have a cutting machine. You're not going to get these professionally printed and cut somewhere. This is for, I'm trying to present an alternate tool to maybe whatever you're using, whether it's Microsoft Word or Publisher. You can use something like Google Slides right in your web browser, and I want to show you what you can create. Okay, so I have the flyer. I just took a picture of it so that I could show you on the screen here. This is the flyer. It's not a great photo, but I'll just size it to the side of the page so you can see what we're working with. This is the information that we get, and we see right away it's on this bright pink paper, probably to try to catch your attention. But what I want to do is recreate this as quickly as possible. And what I'm going to also do by doing this is create a template that I can use over and over and over again. So the first thing that I like to do when I create designs is, much like web design, I want to start with a hero image. And so what I'm going to do is take some of this content and reformat it. Okay, I'm going to use some of my design freedom, creative freedom here, and sort of remake this in a way that I think is going to be much more pleasing, specifically to parents. Okay, moms and dads alike. I think our eyes will read things much better if things are laid out in a way that is just more aesthetically pleasing. So we can digest the content a little bit better and present it in a more beautiful way. That's what I'm going to try to achieve here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an image right up here for the Donuts with Dad. I'm going to break these into different sections rather than using these like little clip art things. I'm going to use nice big images. So to do that, I can go to Insert, Image, and I'm going to go to Search. And again, I'm using everything inside of Google. And you can see here, this is actually really, really great. It's going to save you in the long run. When you insert images from inside a Google Drive application, you can see results shown are labeled for commercial reuse with modification, which means that they're safe to reuse. So it's only going to show me images that are okay to reuse. And I'm going to look for donuts. Some nice images already. That one looks pretty good. And I don't want something, I want a photo. I don't want something illustrated. I want something that just looks yummy. That one looks pretty good. I'm going to select that. It's going to insert right in here. Again, I'm not going to worry about resolution. I'm not talking about, professional, CMYK print ready, blah, blah, blah. We're not in Adobe products. I just want to use something that is easy and most likely will be able to be used by anyone else. So first thing that I want to do is crop this image. Well, let's resize it first. I want it to go all the way across the paper. And you see here, I've got a little either branding thing or a name right down in there. I'm going to double click and I'm going to crop that. Okay. Using those black handles, you can crop images. And I'm also just going to crop it a bit more right to the section that I want, okay? And then I like that one donut here with all the sprinkles. So inside this, what I just did is double click and you can drag this image around inside that cropping box. Really easy, okay? Get my image lined up. And already, this is just so much more pleasing to my eyes anyway. And what I want to do is make the dad and the mom sort of the main thing. This is who the message is to. Donuts with Dad, muffins with Mom. So let's go ahead and put in some word art. So I'm going to go to Insert again, Word Art, and I'm going to do this in a few different pieces. So I'm going to do donuts first. I'm going to do all caps. And what I like is really big, chunky, fun text, something that will read very easy. And I like this Rubik one. It's not quite so rigid. It's got some roundedness to it. You see, I just made it white, made the fill white. Okay, And the word art is pretty cool. You can treat it just like a shape. And so I can move it around. I'm also going to select this image and go to image options right here. And this brings up a panel on the right-hand side that gives me some image options. I can recolor it. I can do something like that, do kind of a color overlay. And I don't want to do that. I like all the colors in there, but I am just going to bump down the brightness a little tiny bit. What that's going to help is, without getting too dark, it's going to help the text on top read a little bit better, creates a little bit more contrast. I might actually bump up the contrast a little bit too. Okay. Really easy stuff. That's all we had to do. Select the image, go to image options. We've got transparency, which I'll show you what that does. Just makes it transparent, so anything behind this or the background itself would then show through. Okay, we got donuts. And what I can do is Option or Alt drag to copy that text, double click it to edit it, and I'm going to do dad. I'm going to do the width in a different font. So I can copy this again, type width, but I'm going to do lowercase. And let's do something that will contrast that font, something maybe in script. And I've got several in here. If you don't have all the ones that you can see on my screen, just click more fonts, and this will give you access to a huge selection of web fonts from the Google font repository. And click OK, and you've got them just like that. There was one I just saw in there. Maybe I'll use that. It was cookie. Try that. So we go to here and select cookie, and there we go. I like that. So that gives a nice contrast from our big chunky blocky one. And we'll maybe center the underneath that. And then what we can do is hold Shift to select multiple objects, and then Command Option G will put them into a group, and that group I can then center right on the image, just like that. Now I want to show you another trick. You can use a PNG image that has a semi-transparent alpha channel. Rather than getting in on all of that, I'm just going to open another tab so that you can see. I'm just going to do this inside of a browser once again, and I'm going to generate. Let's do a PNG gradient generator. Okay, so I'm just going to Google search for gradient, PNG gradient generator, and it's this Angry Tools one. This is a great tool. So it just works online again. I'm not leaving the web browser, just open another tab. And what I want to do is create a 90-degree gradient. It doesn't matter which way it goes. And I'm going to select black. So it's going from black to all the way transparent. And I'm just going to make this black as well. And then drag this slider. You see it's making this checkered pattern just means it's transparent. Okay, and I'm going to make this a little bit larger, maybe 600 by 600, and then generate image. All I need to do, I'm going to right click, copy that image, and then go back over here and paste it in. So you see I've got this semi-transparent PNG. This thing can be squashed and resized, and I'm going to go to Arrange and flip it vertically. And what I want to do is just create a little bit more contrast underneath my text. Okay. So I'm moving pretty fast because I want to keep this stream pretty short, but that's the beauty of the internet. You can go back and rewatch. Now there's hotkeys for tons of stuff. Okay. And you can find that in the help menu, keyboard shortcuts. Okay. So I'm using a lot of these So that's just, again, under Help, keyboard shortcuts. And basically what I'm doing with this kind of stuff is this is object-based arrangement or layout, okay? So I want to put this behind the text. I can do that from under the Arrange and Order, Send Backward, and you see that it also gives me the keyboard shortcut, which on mine is Command Down. So I don't want it behind the image, I just want it behind the text. I'm going to line it up with the bottom of the image. And then let's pull up that bright, colorful donut just a little bit more. I can also make this a little bit transparent, so maybe 50%. Once again, just to make this a little bit more readable. And I think that's looking really, really nice. Now, what I'm going to do is copy this whole section. So again, we'll just click and drag to select everything. And I'm going to hold the Alt or Option key, and I can drag it down. I'm going to leave a little bit of a space. And what I can do now is click on my image and then go to Replace Image. And this time I want to find a picture of muffins. We'll do the muffins with Mom. Oh, that one looks pretty good right there. That's nice. That's nice, but I like the colors over here, so I'm going to choose that one. They look kind of like cupcakes, but I don't mind that because the colors really pop. So this one looks nice and gooey, and I think dads would really like that. Even though it's got pink in it, it just looks delicious. And it helps give some color. So you can see now there's just a lot of contrast, the dark and light, and this text starts to really pop on these images. I'm going to ungroup this piece of text, and I'm going to select the piece that I want to change, double click it, and then just type and Mom. So you can see how this kind of expedites the whole process a little bit and gets me going a little quicker by just copying things. I'm going to regroup that and center it on this image now. So I've got these big headings or hero images or billboards, whatever you want to call these, attention-grabbing titles, basically, for both of these. Now, here's going to be the interesting part. I'm going to fit all of this information. Well, I'm going to condense a lot of it because that's the other problem is human beings need things to be in chunks. That's just the way our brains work. It doesn't mean we're lazy. It doesn't mean we're not able to read and process information. But the best way for us to retain that information as well as get through all of it is to help divide it up into chunks. Okay, that's what I'm doing here with these images, with this layout. And that's what I'm going to do with the rest of the document as well. So I may have to resize some things. We'll see. But I like this so far. So it says mark your calendars. We really don't need that line. Okay, we just need information. Please note there will be a minimal charge of $1 per person. So we do need that. That's information. And we can put that in with, let's do another piece of word art. I'm going to be using a lot of word art. So I'm going to say $1. I'm just going to do it like that. We don't need the periods. $1 minimum. I'm just going to say per person. And I can even make this $1 person. I can put a bullet. $5 family. See, I can condense that information quite a bit. I can use that Rubik's one again, that nice big fat bold chunky font, but then I can scale it down. Okay, so this is information. They put a please note on there. That's information that they want. So I'm going to put it right here in the hero image area. Let's ungroup this so we can get some spacing guides. You see those blue guides that pop up? Those are great spacing guides. But I do think I want it a little bit further away from the title, so I'm just going to use my arrow keys, put it down a couple of. Okay, so we got $1 per person, $5 per family. Calling all dads, come join us with your Voyager children on Thursday, April 21st. So donuts with dad. Obviously, it's for dads. $1 per person, $5 per family. Thursday, April 21st. So let's go ahead and move this up a little bit. We'll copy this line again, just doing an alt drag. Thursday. I'm going to use those slashes again. I like that. April 21. Okay, another slash. 8 to 45. Yeah. Oh, make that smaller. So you see the hierarchy of information starting to happen, which again helps us process those things in chunks, right? And what I actually might do is make this line here, because it's relatively of the same importance, but I want the date to come first, and then this price right underneath like that. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to left justify all of this because I think that helps read a little bit better. Done with that. Might play around with some colors. Got a bright yellow. Yeah, I kind of like that. Kind of helps it stand out. But I want to go kind of, I want to use colors, but in a little bit of a sophisticated way. So again, I'm just double clicking to change this. This is on another Thursday, but it's the 28th. And same time. Price is the same. Okay. That's all I need to do. I'm going to group these two pieces. And let's just make sure I get the same spacing here. So go down to 3. There we go. Put my big title here back into a group, which I'm just using Command Option G to put those in a group. Muffins with mom. Let's see here. Let's make that also yellow. Yellow just works pretty well. I use it quite a bit. It's actually the first color that our brains are trained to see as important. Think about all the traffic signs, all that kind of stuff. And it just works. It also really works with contrast. It's not white, so it doesn't get washed out with other light colors, but it's bright enough to stand off these darker backgrounds here. So it just works. Right. I'm going to select all that, center it right there on the image. Looking good. In the center here, I want to create another chunk of something, okay, to help, again, divide our attention, give us a little breathing room, a little white space. I don't like this that just sounds like they're begging. I think the best way to get people involved and make sure that they actually see and read this information is just to present it confidently and make it make it appealing. Not like you're begging people to come. So that's just my marketing tip. Calling all moms, come join us for Avoid Your Children. Just give me a couple minutes here. I'm trying to decide which piece to highlight, what things here I need to do. The bottom here again is just basically, please consider helping out at either of these events. This is just kind of something that happens. I've noticed with documents like this that come home from school is, they're desperately trying to get parents involved, and parents are busy. Everybody's busy. But again, if I was going to design this professionally, if they were going to hire me for my design opinion, I would say just present the information as straightforward as possible, and I think that they'd get a better turnout. So they're inviting moms to volunteer to help out with the Donuts for Dads, and then they're inviting dads to help out with the Muffins for Moms. Well, I think that what I'll do here, this is a big part of design, by the way, is thinking. But I think already, let's see, how long have we been on here? Hey, Robbie, thanks for watching. Sorry I didn't see your comment there. Just checking the stream. Get rid of that. Okay, yep, just want to make sure I saw the comments. No questions yet. If you do have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat window, or if you're watching the replay, leave them in the comments below. Okay, I want to create. There's a couple things that I want to make. There's a little bit of a menu, sort of. It says donuts, juice, and coffee. So I'm just going to put donuts, juice, and coffee, but I'm going to do it inside of a shape and kind of maybe off the one side. Now you can create a shape, so just like this, move it around, whatever. But if you double click, you can type inside of it. So it automatically just becomes a text box by double clicking. Just so cool. I'm going to get rid of the stroke. That's what I've been doing all along with any shapes and text. Get rid of the stroke. Just put it on transparent. I think I'll use this yellow color and then type in here with black. We're going to vertically align our text and center justify it. And I'm just going to type let's juice. I'm going to use the Empress and and let's choose a good font for that. Rubik 1, that works. Actually, let's use something a little bit narrower so we can make it larger. It's too large. There we go. Donuts, juice, and coffee. So I'm not using too many fonts so far. I've got 3. I've got this sort of scripty one here to really help contrast the big chunky Rubik 1 font. And then I've got this one here, which I just used Impact. I use Impact a lot. It's a nice condensed bold font, so it still goes well. It's not like we got a million different fonts going everywhere. So I'm just going to put that right down in the corner like that. And I'm going to alt drag that again and put it down in the corner of this one. And we'll just change this donuts to muffins. Muffins, juice, and coffee. There we go. So you can see it's already, maybe it's looking like web design, but this works great for print layouts. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit so you can see what we've creating and really the quality of this inside of a web browser. Donuts with Dad, Thursday, April 21st, 8 to 8:45 a.m., $1 per person, $5 per family, donuts, juice, and coffee. Okay, we'll have some information right here in the center that will pertain to both of them, which will probably be about any contact information. And maybe this this helping message here. Okay, and then we've got Muffins with Mom, Thursday, April 28th, 8 to 8:45 a.m., $1 per person, $5 per family, muffins, juice, and coffee. So this also really helps when we've got chunks of things, sections of things, digestible pieces. Okay, so it's just going to help us navigate when you pull this as a parent. If you pull this out of a kid's backpack, their folder, or whatever, Donuts with Dads, Muffins with Moms. All right, and something here in the center. And we're going to use a text box for that. So I'm just going to drag out a text box. And I also have the copy of it right here next to me so I can see it a little bit easier. And I'm just going to type this just like a paragraph text. Okay. For this takes very little. It is definitely worth it. Lots of parents, my typing skills here. Lots of parents for you to meet. You pass out some breakfast. I'm also trying to think if I can word this any better. That's not actually a complete sentence. There will be a lot of parents for you to meet as you pass out some breakfast treats. Okay. Let's make this I don't like it scripty. I use script font very sparingly because it's not easy to read. Maybe our Rubik 1 there. Again, we'll just use that. You know what? Let's do this. I just had the epiphany. See, sometimes it just takes a little bit. I'm going to move that off here. What I want to put here in the middle, the other message that I'm seeing when I read through this over and over and over again is volunteer. They want people to volunteer. So I'm going to say volunteer. This will help people see that there are opportunities to volunteer. And you know what? I might make this the script. And that they need it. Okay. And I'm going to make that black. Make that nice and big. So the events, Donuts with Dad, Muffins with Mom, and then the request right here in the middle is for volunteers. So I'm going to arrange, I'm going to center this horizontally on the page, center vertically on the page, and then put maybe an exclamation mark here. One word, see, this can say it all. Let's move that up, and we'll put our paragraph right underneath this. And right here, I'm just going to say contact the email address. I might give that a color. Something that will go well with this. I like that blue right there. And I've got this cool little tool that you can get for Chrome. It's called, what is this called? Colorzilla, okay? Colorzilla. So I can pick a color from the page. I'm going to grab that blue right there. And it's copied this hexadecimal value to my clipboard so that I can go to custom colors and paste it right in here to get that blue. Right, and now I'm going to turn off spelling suggestions because it's just telling me that the email address is spelled wrong. All right, and then I'm going to select both of these. This text, I'm also going to make sure it's aligned vertically in the center. Then I get those nice spacing guides there, those blue lines. And make sure that's spaced out evenly. All right. Now, let's look at before and after. So just really, what, an hour or so? Maybe not even that long. Thanks, Robbie. Okay. And thank you for watching. Please go ahead and share this video with anybody that you feel like could benefit from this, particularly anybody that works at a school. So most likely these kind of documents get either made by a teacher or somebody in the office. Like at the end of the day, you know, people are busy. We need to really appreciate people who work in education, our teachers and our staff. And what I'm trying to do in this video is, one, just raise awareness about that, and also offer some design tips that I think would really help events like this get a better turnout. And using tools like the Google suite of apps, like Slides here in this case, is a great way to do that without having to install any software. I mean, you have access to tons of fonts, and guess what? We could invite somebody else to this document, maybe a teacher's aide or the principal, to get their approval, and they could look over it, they could make any changes, and it's just automatically saved. I don't have to even click the save button. If I wanted to make this double-sided, I could just go right over here and create a new slide, get rid of any of this content, and I'm already able to create another page right inside this. And what would happen is, in fact, let me go ahead and add one that I made for a different tutorial here. This was another school newsletter. Made the same exact way that I've been showing in the stream. And let's go ahead and add one of the pages here. Just for the tutorial's sake, okay? I wouldn't probably do this. Just copy and paste from one document right into the next. And we'll go ahead and get rid of our reference there, which is the original. Now we got this beautiful flyer, which if we print in full color, which really shouldn't cost that much anymore, and even if this was in black and white, this should read pretty well. I made just change the yellow to white if black and white was the only option. But I'm just assuming that color would be available. Here's the cool thing. From here, I could go File, and I could email as attachment, and I could attach it as a PDF. So it's going to automatically convert this to a PDF, and I could email it to a huge list, maybe my parents' list. And I could do that by just pasting it right in here. If I have a comma-separated file, I could copy and paste them all right in here. Or if I had an email list, I could do it that way. Or I could just download it as PDF and then attach it and use whatever email client that you want. And I want to show you, I'm just going to drag it back into Chrome. Again, everything I'm doing right here is in the browser. So even our PDF viewer is in Chrome. And now I can see it as it would print. Donuts with Dad, we got all our information, big volunteer information there, contact information that pertains to both of these events. And you can see it goes right into our second page. So if I wanted to print this, I could print this as a double-sided document if your printer supports that. So you can see here in the options I had black and white selected. So I may change that donuts to white, but still this is an attractive document. Go to color, looks great. And then you can change your printer settings. Basically, you'll get that front and back, or if you just wanted to print two pages, it's all inside one document that we created in Google Slides. Ready to go. Okay, so cool. So I hope that this video has helped some of you out there. If you know a teacher that maybe this would help, the great thing is that now this exists in my Google Drive. I can recall this at any time, change the dates, and I'm off and running. So the amount of time that it took me just now is probably a fraction of the time it takes somebody to work out what we saw before in Microsoft Publisher or Word, or you're fighting with technology half the time. This is just all in a web browser, and I think we can create something that is just significantly more beautiful and will be much more appealing, and ultimately, hopefully, help these events turn out better. And I'm really hoping to help school faculty find tools that help their job be easier, because they need it. They don't need stuff piled on at the end of the day or whenever these things end up going out. And I think that both for the appeal, for parents who are the audience that see this, because kids, they might see this and maybe they would actually think that this is more fun and be more inclined to show their parents. Wouldn't that be cool? But parents are the ones that are going to be taking in this information, digesting it, and then making a response about the information, whether they're going to attend or volunteer or whatever. So they're the audience that we're designing for in this case, right? All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Share the replay with somebody in a school education field. Let them know that this tool is out there, and there are definitely ways to make their life easier. And I hope that this video is one of those tools that helps them see that. And with that, we'll end the stream. Thank you again for watching. Let me just check and see. Okay, thanks again, Robbie, for watching and for sharing. Again, this will be available in the replay, so check out pomeroycreative.com. That is my business. We do graphic design and all things creative. Also, joshuapomeroy.com, where you can find out more about me and check out my YouTube channel as well. If you're not already watching it on YouTube, just youtube.com/PomeroyJoshua. And thank you for watching.